Hello, hello. Welcome aboard. This is Ernie Delgado with Beyond Technology Education, and I appreciate you joining us once again on this wonderful, beautiful Wednesday. It's bright and sunny and clear here in Southern California. I hope it's pleasant where you are as well. We have one of our favorite presenters back today with us, Carolyn Grayson, who is a high school educator. She's fantastic in so many ways. And today she's going to share with you how she has learned how to expertly use Zoom and something called InShot, which I'm curious to learn about, to create awesome content, custom content for her students to make the classroom just come alive online, which a lot of us are struggling with. And we have some great tips for you. So, every Wednesday, as I mentioned, we have these webinars. Please join us. Keep your eye on the email and share it with your friends, and let them know to join the community. We do have an online community that I will share with you in a moment. For all of you out there who are not aware of Beyond Technology Education, we are consultants in the education area. We help you with professional development, online learning plans, and really helping you master the fine art of online teaching and in classroom teaching when that becomes a thing again. For some of you, you are already in the classroom. So we do both. We kind of have learned how to master both areas, especially when it comes to curriculum modification, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about today, creating some awesome content that really gets your kids inspired and on task and motivated and involved, which is harder and harder every day. And if you want to know more how to learn these things, these tricks, these secrets, visit our website, beyondk12.com, and you'll see a free school analysis button on the page somewhere. Let us know how we could help. And again, we have a whole library of amazing topics that we've gone through to help you. And if you're struggling with Google Classroom, with Zoom, with Google Meets, whatever it is, we have a webinar that will give you a firsthand classroom perspective on how those tools can help you. And to find those videos, we have a couple different methods. The main method is our Facebook group. I know, I hear the boos and the hisses. Some of us are not Facebook fans anymore, and I get that, including Carolyn. But if you are on there, just search for the Classroom Technology User Group, join our community. The videos are all posted there first, so you'll get that one later today, or today's later today. But all the past are there for free. Again, share them with your friends, your relatives. Maybe sit around at night watching TV with some popcorn and pop on a video. Share it with your family. Who knows? Might be fun. If you're not a big Facebook person, send me an email, Ernie@BeyondK12, and say, Ernie, I'm not on Facebook, but I'm interested in a video, and I'll get it to you a different way. Again, Online Learning Planet is our specialty, and find that button on our website. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Grayson. Carolyn, how are you today?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
I,
All
I,
right, here we go.
now, I don't want to take the thunder away from Carolyn, so I'm going to pop off my video, but I would like you to be aware that there is a question and answer panel on the box, the little rectangular box there on your screen. Is it over here or is it over here? I don't know where you're at. Put your questions there at the end. Unless it's real relevant in the middle, I'll stop Mrs. Grayson and say, hey, we got a really good question we need to address now. This is a two-way conversation, actually three ways. We're all over the place. LA, Inland Empire, Keon's in the Valley, and then you guys are wherever you're at. And so we'll be able to handle all questions, okay? If you want that question and answer box. I'm out. Carolyn, have a great webinar. Enjoy yourself. Have fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I actually can't see the question and answer box, so he does have to stop me. So, hi, my name is Carolyn Grayson. I have been teaching high school language arts for 18 years. Yeah, it kind of, yeah, it's a bit much when I think about it, but never in my mind did I ever think that it was ever going to be anything like this. So, I just want to share with you some tips and tricks that I've learned about making videos, sending videos out to my kids, getting kids involved, and getting some feedback from them. So, interestingly enough, I'm going to show you kind of like the Nearpod, how to use it, but I'm not a fan of all of the apps and things that were created necessarily specifically for technology, or sorry, for teaching. Like for some reason, they don't quite connect with me. And so one of the things that I've found is that I have sort of jury-rigged my Zoom and this cute little app called InShot to kind of make my lessons differentiated and a little bit more unique to me. So I just wanted to sort of explain a little backstory. I love online teaching. I think it's awesome. I think that after all of this is over, we should keep online teaching as a component. What I don't necessarily love is the way online teaching is going right now. This isn't what I had in mind. If you think about the online experience, there are two things that online education was designed for that our students don't have. The first thing is choice. Usually when you come to an online class, you have chosen to be there. It was by choice. Our kids, our current students, they did not choose the online education life. It chose them. Like regardless of the way they learn, they're all sitting in front of a computer. And that brings me to point number 2. Online education was originally designed for flexibility. It was meant for working adults who needed to have flexibility within their schedules and to be able to do their work when it was easy and appropriate for them. And our students, again, because of our districts and different requirements for the district, they don't necessarily have that flexibility, which is a huge downfall. So we're asking kids to sit in front of a computer from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and they get a little antsy. So here's the way I've been running my classroom while still maintaining the integrity of, or trying to maintain the integrity of what my district has asked me to do. For us, we have to provide 30 minutes of synchronous education per class period, and I see my students twice a week. So I know that sitting in front of a computer is really difficult for them. They are sophomores, they're wiggly. Even if you see them in the classroom, they're still wiggly. Elementary school peeps, I don't know how you guys do it. Hats off to you. My daughter's kindergarten teacher is awesome. It's just amazing. But what I've done is I will create a video using Zoom and InShot. I will post that video for my students over the weekend. Within the video, embedded in the video, are questions. I do not write out the questions. I just verbalize the questions. Sometimes there's a little tell, like I'll use InShot and I'll post up a number, but I don't physically write out the questions, which is one of my big issues with a program like Nearpod. I have teenagers. If you put the questions in Nearpod, the kids just fast forward to the question, they answer the question, they never actually watch your video. So I post my video, I ask the questions within the context of the video, I put it up on a Sunday, I make the questions due on a Wednesday. Between the Sunday and the Wednesday, I see my students. I then offer to my students a time on Zoom where I will play the video and interact with them in the chat. And that's where I actually will write out the questions. If they need me, if they need my help, if they need that interaction, they're watching the video with me, we're interacting. The whole class is also doing an online discussion live, but they have that interaction on Zoom. If they feel that they can do this asynchronously and they don't necessarily need me, they can play the video at their convenience. I've gotten some good feedback with it, and it's working so far, it's working. So that's how I've used this. I don't know if you want to use it in a different way. I think you can use this synchronously and asynchronously. Now, why Zoom? Well, you see, I kind of like having my camera on. I want my students to be able to see me. And I give them this analogy. It's like, you know what? I create my own content. Because I will not allow you to cut, copy, paste something off of the internet and turn it in as your answers. I'm not just going to cut, copy, paste my lesson off the internet to give you my lesson. But when you're doing something like Julius Caesar here, like I'm not going to stand here and read all the parts of the play. Like that's just, it sounds weird. It'd be terrible. They might laugh the first time, but after a while, it's just not going to work for us. So With Zoom, I can create a picture-in-picture experience. There's no extra software I need. It's probably something that you're already using, right? And my students can see me throughout the duration of the video. Why do I want them to see me? I'm not that cool. It's not about that. I think that that does build a relationship. The more that they see me, the more comfortable they're going to feel with me, the more likely they are going to be to turn on their cameras. Because at my district, we have a policy where the students do not necessarily need to have their cameras on. My daughter's district has a different policy. They do have to have their cameras on or they're marked absent. I think every district is doing this a little bit differently. So for me, I feel like the more I show them my personality and my willingness to just be goofy in front of the camera and, maybe not always look my best or, make mistakes, I'll leave the little bloopers in there. If I missay something, I don't go back and correct it. And I feel like that helps them kind of get a sense of me. So if you want to use Zoom, you can actually combine your audio, which is, I have it queued up here, and I have it just on YouTube, my YouTube audio, and then I can share the text and I can have myself in the corner. And the kids were nice enough to say, oh yeah, that's the way I watch people play video games on YouTube. And I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. But yes, you can watch people play video games on YouTube. I don't know why, but y'all can do it. So they were familiar with the format. The first thing you're going to want to do, though, before you start to record your video is you're going to want to key up your resources. So if you want to use audio, get your audio ready to go. If you want to have a copy of the text, get the copy of the text also ready to go so that when you log on to Zoom, you have your tabs open and you just have to click on them. Saves you time. All right, so then very easily, you're just gonna go onto Zoom the way you normally would if you're joining a staff meeting or you're starting your class. Only this time, what you guys are gonna do is you're gonna sign in and you're going to host a meeting with your video on. You're like, wait, there's no meeting. Yeah, there's no meeting. There's no meeting. It's a meeting of one. It's just you. So you're actually going to start a meeting with just yourself. It sounds a little sad, but trust me, it works. Once you get there, you're going to launch the meeting. Again, there's no participants. It is just you. And it's going to ask you if you want to join with computer audio. Yes, you definitely want your audio on. Without that, your students aren't going to be able to hear you. Okay, so just so you're aware, if this is the first time you have launched Zoom on your computer or you have a new Mac, you do have to give permission to Zoom to be able to record your screen. And that's essentially what you're doing. You're going to hit record. At the very bottom, there is a record button on Zoom, and you're going to choose to either record your screen to your computer or to the cloud. There are benefits for each. I choose to record mine to my computer because it's immediately available for me to mess around with, play with, and use. Whereas if I record to the cloud, it does take a little bit longer, and then you have to wait for the email that says it's ready to download. And then because I'm going to manipulate it in InShot, then, I'm gonna have to download it anyway. So just know how much space you have and where you want to save that, but it really, in the end, it doesn't matter. As soon as you're done recording, it will open up another window and it'll let you know where your recording is, so you don't have to go around looking for it, but it's not named. It's a whole string of letters and numbers and followed by Zoom, so it's really difficult to search for. So when you get the pop-up window that says that your recording is ready, I would click on it then, watch it, change the name at that time. I do save mine to the desktop until I have edited it and then send it off to my students. After that, there are 2 places that I suggest putting your videos for future use. One would be a Google Drive if you have unlimited space, if your district is nice enough to give you a Google Drive with unlimited space. The second option I would consider is having a private YouTube channel. It hosts your videos for you. You can give kids links to your channel. You can turn off comments. It doesn't have to be public if you're not comfortable with that, but it's a great place to freely hold all of your videos and all of your lessons. And if you would like to reuse them in the future, now you have them all chronologically ordered in one spot. It's not taking up space on your computer. No one has to even know that it's there. If you're paying for like a Dropbox subscription or making your Google Docs into, paying for extra cloud service, or iCloud is getting kind of expensive as well. I think YouTube is often overlooked, but it really is a great video storage option for those of you that want to take advantage of that. And you can always make it public at some point. Like maybe this could be your career. You've got influence. You could be an influencer teacher. I think that's going to become a thing. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to become a thing. So I choose record to this computer. Clearly, this was not my best day. That's me. Screenshot. Now, once you hit record, a couple of things you're going to want to be aware of here. You have these options down here. You have share sound and you have optimize video clip. If you're going to be using YouTube to get some sound, like Julia Caesar is on YouTube, I'm going to play the audio for my students. You want to share your computer sound. When you do that, you want to take away your earpods, AirPods, external microphone, because you want your voice and what's coming across from the computer to be equal, and you want the kids to be able to hear both because you're going to toggle in between, right? You don't necessarily want to hit optimize video clip. If you do, it takes your picture within a picture out. And like I said, I really think that is like, even if you're, I know what you're thinking, like you're just sitting there listening to the play. Well, yeah, but I'm making facial expressions. And when I get into InShot, I will then edit that to add little memes and things. So if somebody says something, Julius Caesar, they're plotting to kill Caesar, and let's say Brutus, is debating whether he should kill Caesar, and he says, like a serpent, I'm going to kill him in his shell before he becomes dangerous. I might insert like a little picture of a serpent down there, and from my little box, knowing that I plan on doing that, I might be pointing down. I like them to see me the whole time. If I want them to be paying attention, I think it's important for me to look like I'm paying attention. I'm not grading things that, I'm engaged. I'm making silly faces. I'm, doing this. And then I'm interrupting the speech and talking and giving those questions and discussing literature. And I'm really just running my lecture the same way I would as if the kids were in the classroom, only I'm talking to myself. It's true. I'm talking to myself. If you hit this optimize video clip, then the picture within a picture is taken out. Now, when I play my videos for my live Zoom, I do hit optimize video clip because having myself on camera, over in the corner from when I recorded this, and having myself live on Zoom as I'm interacting with my students is just like, it's just slightly too narcissistic for me. Like having myself on camera twice is not necessary. So if you go for this option, where you're going to play it live for them, then you want to hit optimize for video clip, but not when you're actually doing the recording the first time. I did have a teacher come to me and say, this is kind of a lot of work. Like, I don't want to spend my time and energy on creating all this content that I'm never going to use again. And so I have a few answers to that. Number one, I didn't really think I would be here a year later. March 16th is a year of distance learning, so I'm glad I started creating these resources. Number two, I have kids that have lost family members due to COVID. I have students that are now in charge of taking care of their younger brothers and sisters. I am not allowed to record my lessons with kids on Zoom, at least this way, for like that lecture part. I mean, kids, it's hard for a student to navigate Julius Caesar on their own. I'm taking them through it. I'm saying like, okay, in plain English, this is what it really means. And then I'm saying things like, and I'd like you to think about, and the whole time we're going through it, I am asking them to take notes. And I'll stop them and be like, okay, well, what do you think of Brutus's motivation? Do you agree or disagree? Okay, that's number 4. Tell me, do you agree or disagree and why? And I'm trying to get to know my students. When I see them live on Zoom later in the week, I actually read from those posts. I'll be like, according to one of your classmates, they found Brutus's justification for killing Caesar totally reasonable because, and I won't name the name of the student because I know that they're a little sensitive about that, but I do use those notes from that original lecture. It's like a delayed reaction of a class discussion. I do feel like I get to hear more students' voices than if I were just calling on kids in a Zoom or even in class, because y'all know there's always that one kid who has excellent behavior, but who never, ever, ever talks. And you rarely get to hear that kid's voice, and the louder kids sort of overwhelm them. So I do feel like I get to hear a wider variety of voices doing this. And I can post these videos up later for my students and say, okay, you missed class, now let's go back. Or you didn't quite get that concept, could you rewatch that video? I also have consistency because I see, you know, my LA 10 kids all one day and then LA honors all the next day. You know, you guys know, you teach classes, what you do first period might not be what you do third period. You might have forgotten something. The office might have called. Oh, there's a delivery. Those darn yearbook kids always want to take pictures. I can say that because I'm the yearbook advisor. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's always those interruptions. So now I have consistency. And then finally, when I make these videos, if there is something that I have forgotten, I can either use InShot to amend it and add it onto the end and be like, oh guys, hold up, I forgot this. Or, I mean, if I'm feeling, you know, extra ambitious that day, I can re-record and say, I wasn't really happy with the way that one turned out after looking at it. I really would prefer to redo this and have a better lesson. So it's worked out well for me. So here I am, and I'm gonna share my sound because now I am ready to record my video, which I'm going to save on my computer. All right, so what I have right now is I have Julius Caesar all queued up. Over here, you can see I have the microphone, and it is going to be playing Julius Caesar, the audio, because like I said, I'm not reading all of that in different voices and the whole thing. And I have Julius Caesar, the play. And over in the corner here, again, probably not my best day, there's me. I don't know, why did I choose that screenshot? I don't know. But anyway, there's me, and I'm going through the lesson with the students. I remain up there. You can move your little box around the screen. I know for some of my videos, depending on how the structure of the text, I do like to put my little box right underneath the camera so it looks like I'm making eye contact with them. I sometimes find myself looking at myself sometimes. You know, I'm not even gonna lie, like sometimes I find myself looking over to the corner and looking at myself. All right, so I now have my video. It is now saved. Once you record, as soon as you hit stop, it's just gonna go straight to your computer, and now you are ready to edit the video. This is the fun part. Oh my goodness. So I have had 1,000,005, okay, maybe not 1,000,005, but I've had a lot of different editing apps. If you go back to the webinar that I did last, I was using an app called Splice. I love Splice simply for splicing in material. It's so easy to drag and drop material. Just if you miss something, if you want to add something, if you want to go back and mash up a video, basically, Splice is a great place to do that. But then I found this little gem. This thing is awesome. What I like about this, it is available for both iOS and Android, and on Mac. So I don't know what a lot of schools do for their computers. It does this. There's a free version and then there's a paid version. All right, so I acknowledge that, but it is well worth it. If you, I'll give you the prices, but it is well worth it. So check it out. Here's what you can do. You can add stickers. You can add these lovely little, you can't tell they're moving, but they're little movable memes in there. And then you can write directly on your videos. And I love that. So with Splice, I always had to write my dialogue or my text underneath the video. And if you're aware of like iMovie, you'll see the same thing. This one allows me to write directly. I can move the cursor. I can move all of the elements just using my finger all around the screen. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, Grayson, I don't have time to be looking for a bunch of pictures and memes and stickers. I gotcha. The reason I love this app is because they are all built in to the app and they are constantly being updated. So right now, if you were to go on InShot and take a look at the stickers, you would see a whole bunch of things related to Black History Month. So if you're teaching a lesson where you would want students to do a Black History Month project, you would have a bunch of stickers. Now, this is the way they communicate. Do you ever, like, kids collect these like little meme things? Like, they collect them and they send them to each other, and I don't get really any of it, but I'm willing to get it for their sake. I'm willing to try. I don't get TikTok either, but if you are a TikTok person, this particular app will allow you to very easily export your videos to TikTok. I feel like that's maybe the next level. Like, I don't know if we should be learning monologue and soliloquy on TikTok, but maybe we should. Why not, right? Why not? I'm gonna give it a try. We shall see. A couple of things that I will warn you about before you get started. And it's slightly one of my pet peeves. I think I took this screenshot potentially off of my phone, and I only have 3 drafts in there. The drafts do not sync up with your devices. So if I start a video on my phone, you would be surprised the things I do from my phone. If you have a small child, I have about a 5-year-old, honestly, like, you do a lot from your phone because it is mobile and you get it. Okay, so if you start a video on your phone, it doesn't just transfer over to your iPad. You have to manually move it. You have to like move it through your Google folder and then take it to your iPad. Or you have to put it, you have to download it to, it's the easiest thing to do, iPhone people, the easiest thing to do is to download it into your camera roll and then take it from your camera roll onto your iPad or onto your Mac. I will admit that I don't use this on my Mac. It's just a preference. I like being able to have the touch screen and literally like move things around my screen at my will, sometimes over my face. It just depends. So this was taken from my phone, and you will see I only have 3 videos that are there. Here's the other thing. Once you free up some space in your camera roll and you move that video along or you put it in Google, you are no longer able to edit it. So the app doesn't hold on to your content. The app is like the place where you create it. It's like iMovie. And this has happened to me in iMovie. That's where I started off my creation journey. You have to have the original content somewhere on your device in order for it to be re-edited at a later date. Do I wish that they would make some kind of cloud option simply for this app? Absolutely. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, because you can, like I said, you can totally run it through your Google Docs, you can run it through your camera roll, and you'll be fine. All right, so fun things that you can do here. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to choose what content you would like to use. I had this unedited video down here in my videos that was a lesson that I wanted to teach. You can combine videos, you can combine photo and video. So If you are not like me and you actually want to write questions into your presentations, easy way around that. You either use the actual text and you write the question and you give it a background as you're speaking, or if you would like to have it linger for a longer amount of time and have that, you know, question set up there, you can always write it in your notes, put it on a Google Doc, make a screenshot, give it a pretty background, save it as a photo, and then obviously upload that photo in between your video segments. I choose not to do that. I think with younger kids, that might be an option, or it might be a little bit better for them. But like I said, I have high school students. I choose not to. I want them to watch that video. I am adamant, like I can't force them to watch the video. I can't force them. It's so hard when their cameras aren't on. I don't know if they're actually there, which is why I embed the questions in the video. It's the best way I have of being able to gauge whether they're there or not. Is there probably a black market for my video questions somewhere on like Quizlet? Yeah, there probably is, probably. But I think at this point, you know, as teachers, we're doing everything we possibly can to get these kids to learn. And if we're kind of tricking them and we're making it harder for them to, you know, to skip around and to get the information without learning, I do a lot of commentary in my videos. Obviously, I like to talk. And so I feel like that commentary is extremely important to their education. It's not just, which is why I don't say, you know, here's Julius Caesar, go read it by yourself and summarize it. Or here's the audio, go listen to it by yourself. I want to be a part of that conversation. I also want to control that conversation. And I want them to get to know me as best they can. And I feel like making these videos is the best way that I can get them to kind of get to know me, because I can't force them to have their cameras on during Zoom. And because of that, look, 100% honesty here. Right behind me, my camera is off on another computer and I am at my staff meeting. I can't bring, you know, for privacy reasons, I obviously can't bring my computer over there, but I am at my staff meeting and here I am as well here. I don't know what they're doing when their cameras are off. I don't know where they are. And so by creating these videos, it is my way of trying to connect to them. So I have chosen my video down here, and this is InShot. You will notice you have a lot of different options here. And the bottom of this looks an awful lot like iMovie, like Splice. Trying to think of what else I've used recently. YouTube Studio. Okay, so if you're familiar with making videos, if you've used this process in the past, you know, and you have all of the same options here, but just a little bit more. Okay, so you know, you got your crop, your rotate, your split, your cut, so you can edit your videos. Editing and splicing in content material on InShot is, yes, it is a little bit more difficult than in Splice. If you want to edit videos together, if you made a series of videos last semester for your first or second grade class of things like, you know, ABCs and counting to 100 and a book you read, and you want to put those videos together and maybe add some transitions, I do recommend Splice. This one is a little bit more difficult, but not overwhelmingly so that playing around with it for 10 minutes isn't going to kind of give you that knowledge. You've got filters. I don't think I used one here. I should. They also, the same company, and I think I'm going to download this. I haven't tried it yet, but y'all can ask me in the comments, or you can find me on social media and you can ask me. They have this thing called Peachbody. And Peachbody will like totally filter you for your online experience. One of the reasons why our staff meeting is going on for so long is because there are people that don't want to teachers that don't want to turn on their cameras, I guess, or they're uncomfortable being recorded. So I don't, I guess peach body is one of those things that it could help with that if you so desire. I will have to try that. But you also have music, stickers, text we already talked about, picture in picture. That is something I really want to share with you. So here you have your video. Here's my unedited video, and check it out. That's my parents. They're in their 80s. They're playing piano, but it was a nice little video to put down there. You can do video in video, and you can manipulate the sound. So if you are someone that really wants to do a PowerPoint, right, but you still want to have your face on screen, this would be a way that you could manipulate those two things together. You could put pictures down here, but you can also have a video running. If I wanted to record my screen of the Julius Caesar text and then record my commentary over the top of it and just have the text, I can manipulate the size of it, I can manipulate the shape of it, and I could essentially have a picture in picture, I can have a video in video, and I can choose which frame is getting the sound through. I can have one kind of dimmed in the background. If I just wanted to have my parents playing piano in the background, I could have that, dimmed in the background. If I wanted to have it so that, I was showing different slides down below and it wasn't, there was no audio, that I think that makes it a little bit easier. But the picture in picture is such a really cool feature. It allows you, again, to create that content for your students in a way that is really different. They're going to be shocked. They'll be like, how did you do that? Previous to this, if you wanted to do the picture in picture, you had to open up QuickTime on your Mac twice and then record your screen. It was all kinds of crazy. I did it last year. I don't recommend it. This is such an easier option. Can you do a and I've actually done this. So you can also do a recorded not webinar, but you can do a recorded Zoom of just you, right? And then you can do a recorded Zoom of just the content on your computer, and you can add the picture in picture that way as well. It works. But I just think it's like an awesome little extra. Here are the stickers, and you will notice stickers have been submitted. I probably wouldn't use the call me sticker there. That's not really appropriate for kids. Let's get like a parent-teacher conference coming up, but you know what I'm saying. There are appropriate stickers. Remember, it wasn't designed for education. For some reason, the things that are designed for education and I just were like, we're missing. Plus, if every single teacher uses Nearpod, then it's not as cool and engaging as it was previously. The little calendar icon that I have down there at the bottom of my screen is an example. I was telling my students they need to have a color-coded calendar, and then I gave them a couple of different app recommendations so that they could see, but it was flashed on the screen, and you can see people can contribute as well, so you can check around, but you can search. So very literally, I found Julius Caesar. He had a sticker, amazing. And Edgar Allan Poe, when I taught Poe, he had some crazy stickers in there that were absolutely awesome. It's fun to play with, you guys. And then, okay, like the gift thing, kids are all over this. Like, this is huge to them, and there are so many of them. Okay, there are just so many of these. I have to leave my meeting with the camera off. You see, you can never tell what someone's doing when their camera's off, so that's why I create these videos. You have so many that you can choose from, but there are so many literary devices, especially if you have like small kids and you're creating little videos. For example, my daughter does not like school. at all. We're in kindergarten, by the way. The report card was dismal. Okay, like it's just not looking good. But my daughter loves, loves, loves her kindergarten teacher. And the video that she watches the most and the thing that I can get her to do the most is when her teacher goes through the alphabet sounds with her and she can hear her teacher's voice, and she has the lesson on the screen. So my daughter knows her alphabet sounds, but she's struggling with like A-E-I-O-U and chunking text and actually reading because those things are asynchronous and they're left for mom to do. But if I make her a little video, because I started practicing on her, and y'all, I was desperate. She's 5 and she's just not in school. I started making her little videos and I've used these little LOL guys and I've popped things on the screen and she loves it. So if you have small kids and you want to make, like, if you have a Bitmoji classroom and you have links, you could have like ABCs, 1, 2, 3. There's a bunch of these with like cats dancing around. She loves it. Kids really take to this. And so if it's something like a practice video that you want parents to work with the kids on, they really go for this kind of thing. So I think at the elementary school level, it's a lot of fun. It's a great way for them to practice because we aren't getting the hours in the day. Like, look, we're just not. We're not getting those hours. We're trying to make up for it. It's another reason some of my videos can go on for a little longer than a class period normally would be. And so I, allowing the kids to do it at their own pace breaks it up for them. But also these little things, they kind of keep them engaged. And when we watch them together on Zoom, when I play these videos for them, they will comment on the stickers. They will comment on my little memes and things, more so than they comment on the things that I'm saying. So it's a nice way, like as I play it, to know that they're actually there, because they'll be like, oh my goodness, Mrs. Grayson, what is that? Is that a fur ball? Is that a cat dancing? I'm like, okay, you're there. And then that starts the conversation within the chat that I can say to the kids, hey, by the way, did you notice what Brutus was saying? And then they start talking a little bit more, a little shy. All right, so I have my princesses over here. I do believe I was teaching verisimilitude, realisticness of a fairy tale. And you can pop them on the screen at different times. You can decide how long they're going to stay there. You can add text to them. The cool thing is you can add more than one. So you can have, I think when I show you the text, I just pointed to things and they popped up on screen as I pointed, because I knew what I was looking for by that time and I knew sort of my way around the app. It's fun. It's fun. We got to add some fun, right? Got to add some fun. And they're not expecting it, right? Okay, here we go. So we've got monologue and soliloquy. And this is what I mean about typing right on your picture, right there. You can type directly onto your video and then you can move it around with your finger. I just find that so much easier than, and you can change the color, you can change the font, you can give it a background, you can give it effects. And then at the bottom, you can decide how long you want that word to stay on for. You can stretch it out or you can make it shorter. You can plan ahead and you can, do the little pointing thing. You can do this and then you can have like your little meme or a word or something sitting up on your hand. And it is so easy to do. It does not take, like, I understand, like, we have all this stuff to grade. We have a whole bunch of new stuff to prep. There is never a day when we can walk into class and be like, okay, guys, we're just gonna sit here and do an assignment. Like, that isn't really a thing now, right? Like, there's no independent reading day. Because, if I got desperate sometimes, I'd be like, y'all pull out your independent reading book, we're gonna read. That isn't. So I know we're stretched for time. We have more assignments because we need to check in more and we're using all of our class time. It's not, just trust me, it won't take that much of your time and you'll catch on to this so quickly. Again, if this is something that you would want to provide the definitions to them, you could do that right here. You wouldn't need to do a PowerPoint, right? and then do the voiceover for the PowerPoint. You just create your video, it's all you, and then you can type onto your face, essentially. Okay, here's another cool thing. Kids are all into music. I know, right? Like, they have free music, or you can use your iTunes music as well. And if you're worried about copyright, you will notice down here you have this little copy, which will teach your students how to give credit to the musician and how to properly cite something, because it'll embed it in your video and it'll let them know who the artist was. You can donate to the artist if you so desire. I haven't done that, but you can add music to your videos. You can have intro music, you can have sound effects, you can do a voiceover in here as well. They don't have the sound of crickets. I really wish they had the sound of crickets, but they don't have the sound of crickets, which makes me ever so slightly sad. But there's a lot of music. The only thing that I will say about the music selections is that it is overwhelming. There are so many options, and I don't really have a lot of time to go through and search and look for the things that I want to use. So traditionally, if I'm going to add music, I'm not a huge music person, but if I'm going to add music, I will usually pick something that I know that I have on iTunes, but know that this is there and it is available. And again, you can see at the bottom, you are able to determine how long that music goes for, the volume of the music. You can record something else over the top. You could potentially add sound effects. I definitely am going to use this option when it comes time for Caesar to meet his demise. Am I trying to stretch it out so that he sees his ending on March the 15th? I wish I could, but I just don't have that kind of time. But I am going to make sure that I have some kind of sound effects in there that they're not expecting, and I have some like sinister, creepy music. I used it for my Edgar Allan Poe, and it worked out really well. The kids were like, "Oh, does that come with the reading?" I was like, "No, I added that," and I had to share with them like how I added the music to it. All right, so finally, I know what you're all thinking. You're like, "How much is this going to cost me?" It's free to try InShot with the watermarks. You could play around with it. There are some ads when you go to export. Again, it's not terrible. I spent the $15 for the year because I don't know when this distance learning thing is going to stop. And if I were given the option to teach some online classes, I would definitely teach some online classes because I would like to perfect this method, and for the kids that really have taken to it, because I don't necessarily feel like it's fair to say that no kids are excelling. I'm watching kids. I'm watching some students that are really doing well. And I think we kind of owe it to them if we're saying that we're going to meet the needs or try to meet the needs of every single student, then we have to acknowledge that if we perfect an online learning model that may meet the needs of some of our students better than a traditional classroom. So I just had a conversation with one of my students about her anxiety and how she feels so much more comfortable and confident in giving answers online that she never would have said out in the classroom or even written on paper because she was just so anxious all the time. It's just one student, it's just one story, but I believe that there are kids out there that are doing well. So $4 per month, $15 per year, $35 for life. It's the life of the app, not your life. I don't know how these things come and go, but I might pay the $35 for the whole thing. It's fun. It's fun to use. It's easy to use. I would love to say that the videos I'm creating today will be the videos that carry me into the future for distance learning or for online classes. But you know, oftentimes current events come up within discussions and your student population changes. And so I have found, now that we're approaching the 1 year mark, that I am making new videos for these students to meet their needs, especially ones that are struggling, and they're struggling in different ways than my students from last year. So I am creating new videos and new content for my kids this year. I am not reusing the stuff that I used last year. Again, I would try it, try before you buy, but it's a lot of fun. Now, if you're like, no, Nearpod, you guys, you can add quizzes, you can add tests, you can, okay, I hear you, I gotcha. All right, you can still use all of these things in Nearpod. I'm gonna show you how. All right, so why don't I use Nearpod? Because my kids, they're sneaky and they will just skip ahead and answer the questions and never watch the videos, which I think are huge. And when we had training, I may have skipped ahead and not paid attention to the training and just so, yeah. Uh, Also, if I grade, the check-ins are cool, especially for younger kids. I think the check-ins and the little quizzes and the tests and the creations are cool. They do now, Nearpod does sync up with Canvas if that's your LMS. We use Schoology, and although I can import a Nearpod lesson without a code into Schoology, it doesn't sync up with my gradebook. So it's an extra step for me. Whereas if I have the kids writing down what they are learning from the video or my check-in questions or typing it, I can have them upload it to Schoology. I'm grading it all in one place. Their work goes in a linear line. I just grade it and move on. So for me, it is more about time management and the fact that I feel like kids can kind of skip ahead. But if you want to use Nearpod, here is the best way I suggest you do that using Zoom and InShot, because I think you can combine. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to log in, and you are going to come over and you're going to create a lesson over here. Now they have video where you can add activities into your video. That personally for me has been glitchy. I don't know if that is because I'm trying to add activities into something that I've already edited so many times. I don't know, because it's coming from Zoom, and from Zoom it's going to InShot, and then from InShot it's coming into Nearpod. I don't know, or somebody said that that might just be a beta feature and it's not up to perfection. The easier way I found to do this, because you get the same results, is go into lessons, click on add slide, and then from add slide, find your video. And this is where I suggest potentially having a YouTube channel. If you have your video on YouTube, copy and paste the URL from your video here into videos, and your kids will have access to it. And now you can manipulate it. Now you can add the quizzes. Now you can add the mountain climbing. And the only issue that I kind of have is you're very limited in what you can add. It's like a multiple choice and then an open-ended question, but you can then add like slides to the end and add other activities. So it works out in the end. But like I said, that's not normally where I would host it. But going from your computer up to YouTube, it can be a private YouTube account, getting the URL, placing it in videos under lessons, and then managing it that way is an easier way to get your videos to your kids on Nearpod. So what we've covered is how to use Zoom as like better than QuickTime, easy way to do picture-in-picture and create the videos, then how to use InShot to kind of spice up the videos, and then if you would like to add them to Nearpod, how to get them into Nearpod if that is your thing and you would like to add some additional like questions written out in Nearpod. Again, I don't, you can combine it with Nearpod. So you could take your video and then combine it also with some of the Nearpod videos. Again, I don't do that because I want them to see me, not some random person on Nearpod. So I am open to any questions that you may have. And I thank you guys so much for listening to me go through all of this. And I would love to see some videos if someone wants to send me some links, some videos that you've created for your students. I think it's a lot of fun to watch other teacher created videos.
That was fantastic. I learned a lot on that webinar. Very good. You know, actually, I don't even see any questions. I guess you were just so complete in your presentation. I would say this, if I could just, throw out a little commercial for what's to come. We actually have partnered with Carolyn Grayson on a content creation course. And I know the course gets a little more involved with multiple tools. And I believe, Carolyn, if I remember correctly, you also kind of go to the next level on how to use some of these tools within Google Classroom, which a lot of teachers use as well, if I remember correctly.
And Schoology.
And Schoology, yeah. So the course is almost ready. There's a questionnaire at the end of this video, at the end of this webinar, where there's a box you could say, yes, I want more information. And for being an attendee of one of our webinars, you'll get a little coupon code as well. So we're excited about that. Yeah, I see no questions. So that's a first.
Either that or they left. Like they're like my students and they're like,
they just logged in so they could collect the hours and the PD time. Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I do know that most webinar registrants are waiting for the video. And that actually came up a couple times. As a teacher, how am I supposed to watch these? If I'm teaching during the day, which is a very good question, this is why we make the videos available, so that you have an opportunity to learn this amazing stuff from an amazing educator about some amazing tools during a pretty amazing time in our lives. So lots of amazing going on here. And I would like to thank you again, Miss Grayson, for your wonderful presentation. And again, if anyone is interested at all, if I could grab this back. We do have some consulting opportunities to help you directly, either individually, as a staff, or as a district. Let us know what we can do to help. Visit our website, beyondk12.com. A lot of content there. And we're just getting ready to bring our blog back online. We just switch over. And also remember that there is that's not the one I want. There is the group where you could visit and get all of this information. I'll find it in a moment. There it is. Yeah, if you're interested in the Facebook group where all the videos are hosted at this point in time for free, go to Facebook, search for Classroom Technology User Group. CTUG is our acronym. Got to have that right. And you could watch this and all of our other videos for free, as long as we keep them up. And we should have this video ready by this evening, and we'll put it here first, and then it'll go out probably tomorrow, the day after, to registrants. All right, Carolyn, good job. I appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your day. And also for all of you attendees and watchers, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll come back to you soon. Thanks, bye.